of the counterfeiting spirit. And after this the counterfeiting spirit contriveth and censeth all sins and the evil which the rulers of the great fate have commanded for the soul, and it maketh them for the soul, and the inner power stirreth the soul to seek after the region of the light and the whole Godhead, and the counterfeiting spirit leadeth away the soul, and compelleth it continually to do all its lawless deeds, all its mischiefs, and all its sin, and is persistently allotted to the soul, and is hostile to it, and making it do all this evil and all these sins, and it goeth on the retributive servitude, so that they are witnesses in all the sins which it will make it do. Moreover also, if it will rest in the night or by day, it stirreth in its dreams or in lust of the world, and make it to lust after all the things of the world. In a word, it driveth it into all the things which the rulers have commanded for it, and it is hostile to the soul, making it to want to what pleases it not. Now therefore, Mary, this is the fact of the foe of the soul, and this compelleth it unto do with all sins. Now therefore, if the time of that man is completed, first cometh forth the destiny, and leadeth the man unto death through the rulers and their bonds, with which they are bound through fate. And thereafter the retributive receivers come and lead that soul out of the body, and thereafter the retributive receivers spend 3 days circling around with that soul in all the regions, and dispatch it to all the eons of the world. And the counterfeiting spirit and the destiny follow that soul, and the power returneth to the Virgin of Light. And after 3 days the retributive receivers lead down that soul to the emente of the chaos, and when they bring it down to the chaos, they hand it over to those who chastise, and the retributive receivers return unto their own regions according to the economy of the works of the rulers concerning the coming forth of the soul. And the counterfeiting spirit becometh the receiver of the soul, being assigned unto it, transferring it according to the chastisement, because of the sins which it had made it commit, and is in great enmity to that soul. And when the soul hath finished the chastisements in the chaos according to the sins which it hath committed, the counterfeiting spirit leadeth it forth out of the chaos, being assigned unto it, and transferring it to every region because of the sins which it hath committed, and it leadeth it forth on the way of the rulers of the midst. And when it reaches them, the rulers question it on the mysteries of the destiny, and if it hath not found them, they question their destiny, and those rulers chastise that soul according to the sins of which it is guilty. I will tell you the type of their chastisement at the expansion of the universe. When therefore the time of the chastisement of the soul in the judgments of the rulers of the midst shall be completed, the counterfeiting spirit leadeth the soul up out of all the regions of the rulers of the midst, and bringeth before the light of the sun according to the commandment of the first man, you, and bringeth it before the judge, the Virgin of Light, and she proveth that soul findeth that it is sinning soul, and casteth her light power into it for its standing upright, and because of the body and the community of sense, the type of which I will tell you at the expansion of the universe. And the Virgin of Light sealeth that soul, and handed it over to one of her receivers, and will have it cast into the body which is suitable to the sins which it hath committed. And amen, I say unto you, they will not discharge that soul from the charges of the body until it hath yielded its circuits according to its merit. Of all these then will I tell you their type, and their type of the bodies into which it will be cast according to the sins of soul. All this will I tell you when I shall have told you the expansion of the universe. Jesus continued again in discourse, and said, If, on the contrary, it is a soul which hath not hearkened unto the counterfeiting spirit in all its works, but hath become good, and hath received the mysteries of light which are in the second space, or even those which are in the third space, which is within, when the time of the coming forth of all that soul out of the body is completed, then the counterfeiting spirit followeth that soul, and the destiny, and it followeth it on the way on which it will go above, and before it removeth itself, it uttereth the mystery of the undoing of the seals in all the bounds of the counterfeiting spirit, with which the rulers have bound it to the soul. And when it uttereth the bounds of the counterfeiting spirit unto themselves, and it ceases to come into that soul, and releases the soul according to the commandments which the rulers of the great fate had commanded it, saying, Release not this soul until it tell thee the mystery of the undoing of all the seals with which we have bound thee to the soul. If then the soul shall have uttered the mystery of the undoing of the seals and of all the bounds of the counterfeiting spirit, and if it ceases to come into the soul and ceases to be bound to it, then it uttereth it that moment a mystery, and releases that destiny to its region to the rulers who are on the way of the midst. And it uttereth the mystery, and releases to the counterfeiting spirit, to the rulers of fate, to the region of which it was bound to it. And in the moment it becometh a great light stream, shining exceedingly, and retributive receivers who have led it forth out of the body are afraid of the light of that soul, and fall on their faces. And in that moment that soul becometh a great light stream, it becometh entirely wings of light, and penetrate all the regions of the rulers and all the orders of the light, until it reaches the region of the kingdom up to which it had received mysteries. If, on the other hand, it is a soul which has received mysteries in the first space, which is without, and after hath received the mysteries it has accomplished them in, then turneth and committeth sin after accomplishing of the mysteries. And if the time of the coming forth of that soul is completed, then the retributive receivers come to lead that soul out of the body, and the destiny and the counterfeiting spirit followeth that soul, because of the counterfeiting spirit is bound to it with the seals and the bonds of the rulers. It followeth thus that soul which travelleth on the ways with the counterfeiting spirit. It uttereth the mystery of the undoing of all the bonds and all the seals with which the rulers have bound the counterfeiting spirit to the soul. And when the soul uttereth the mystery of the undoing of the seals, straightway the bonds of the seals, which are the bonds in the counterfeiting spirit of the soul, undo themselves. And when the soul uttereth the mystery of the undoing of the seals, straightway the counterfeiting spirit undoeth itself, and cease to be assigned to the soul. And in that moment the soul uttereth a mystery, and restraineth the counterfeiting spirit, and the destiny and the discharge then which follow it. But not one of them is in its powers, but it is in their power. And in a moment the receivers of that soul come with the mysteries which it hath received, come and snatch that soul out of the hands of the retributive receivers, and the latter receivers go back to the works of the rulers for the purpose of the economy of the leading forth of the souls. And the receivers of that souls on the other hand, who belong to the light, become wings of light for that soul, and become vestures of light for it, and they do not lead it into the chaos, because it is not lawful to lead it into the chaos, souls which have received mysteries, but they lead it on the way of the rulers of the midst. And when it reaches the rulers of the midst, those rulers meet the soul, they being in the great fear of the violent fire, and with different faces, in a word, in great immeasurable fear. And in that moment the soul uttereth the mystery of their apology, and they are exceedingly afraid, and fall on their faces, being in fear of the mystery which it hath uttered, and of their apology. And that soul surrendereth their destiny, saying unto them, Take your destiny. I come not to your regions from this moment onwards. I have become a stranger unto you forever, being about to go unto the region of my inheritance. And when the soul shall have said this, the receivers of the light fly with it on high, and lead it into the eons of the fate, it giving every region its apology and its seals, which I will tell you at the expansion of the universe. And it giveth the counterfeiting spirit to the rulers, and telleth them the mysteries of the bonds with which it is bound to it, and saith unto them, There have ye your counterfeiting spirit. I come not to your region. From this moment on I have become a stranger unto you forever. And it giveth every one his seal and its apology. And when the soul shall have said this, the receivers of the light will fly on high, and lead it out of the eons of the fate, and lead it into the eons above, it giving to every region its apology, and the apology of all the regions, and the seals of the tyrants of the king, the Adamus. And it giveth the apology of all the rulers of all the regions of the left, whose collective apologies and seals I will one day tell you, when I shall tell you the expansion of the universe. And moreover, these receivers lead that soul to the Virgin of Light, and that soul giveth the Virgin of Light the seals and the glory of the songs of praise, and the Virgin of Light, and also the 7 other virgins in the light together prove that soul, and find together their signs in it, and their seals, and their baptisms, and their chrism. And the Virgin of Light sealeth that soul, and the receivers of light baptize that soul, and give it the spiritual chrism. And every one of the virgins of light seal it with her seals. And moreover, the receivers of the light hand it over to the great Sabbath, the good, who is at the gate of light, in the region of those of the right, who is called Father. And that soul giveth him the glory of his songs of praise, and his seals, and his apologies. And the Sabbath, the great and good, sealeth it with his seals. And the soul giveth it science, and the glory of the songs of praise, and the seals of to the whole region of those of the right. They are seal it with their seals. And Melchizedek, the great receiver of light, who is in the region of those of the right, sealeth that soul. And all the receivers of Melchizedek seal that soul, and lead it into the treasury of light. And it giveth the glory and the honor and the laud of the songs of praise, and all the seals of all the regions of light. And all those of the region of the treasury of the light seal it with their seals, and goeth unto the region of the inheritance. When the Saviour had said this unto his disciples, he said unto them, Understand ye in what manner I discourse? And Mary came started forward, and said, Yea, my Lord, I understand in what manner thou didst discourse with me, and I will comprehend them all. Now therefore, concerning these words which thou sayest, my mind hath brought forward 4 thoughts in me, and my light man hath led me and exalted, and seeth desiring to come forward out of me and enter into thee. Now therefore, my Lord, hearken, that I may tell thee of the 4 thoughts which arisen in me. The first thought hath arisen in me concerning the words which thou hast spoken. Now therefore, the soul giveth the apology and seal unto the rulers which are in the region of the king Adamus, and giving the apology and the honor and the glory of all the seals and the songs of praise, and to the region of the light. Concerning this word then thou hast spoken unto us aforetime, when they brought thee the piece of money, and thou didst see that it was of silver and copper, and didst ask, Whose is this image? They said, The king's. And when thou sawest that it was of silver and copper mixed, thou saidst, Give therefore the kings unto the king, and the gods unto God. That is, if the soul receiveth mysteries, it giveth the apology, and all the rulers to the region of the king of the Adamus. And the soul giveth the honor and the glory to all those of the region of the light. And the word, it had glistened when they didst see that it is made up of silver and copper. It is the type, therefore, that in it the soul is the powerful of the light, which is the refined silver, and that in it is the counterfeiting spirit, which is the material copper. This, my Lord, is the first thought. The second thought is on the other hand, in which thou hast said unto us concerning the soul which receiveth the mysteries. It cometh into the regions of the way of the mist, and come to meet it exceedingly great fear, and they are afraid of it. And the soul giveth the mystery of the fear unto them. They are afraid of it, and it giveth the destiny of its regions, and it giveth the counterfeiting spirit to its own region, and it giveth the apology of the seals of one of the rulers who are on the ways, and it giveth the honor and the glory and the laud and the seals and the songs of praise to all those of the region of light. Concerning this word, my Lord, thou hast spoken aforetime through the mouth of my brother Paul.